Facebook. That's the elephant in the building, not the room, the building. Now, we're going to talk about Facebook here. And if you're not using Facebook, this is good for you. If you're using Facebook, this is good for you. All of the above. But Facebook has probably become a family member. I would like to call it these past few years. You know, it's kind of like you got introduced to a family member that is always, how do I want to say it, just surprises you right from when you met them. Right from when you met them. So when you met them, you were like, whoa, this is fascinating. You actually make connections through it, through that family member. You went out with that family member. You shined with that family member. I mean, it's where you just go and say, whoa, right? You go to Facebook and you go, whoa. Or you tell somebody, hey, come see this. Come check this out. Come check this out. Or somebody gets home, you get home and you go, oh, guess what? This happened to so and so and so. Well, how'd you find out? It's on Facebook. Yeah, that's Facebook for you. It's sort of like has become a fad. It's made you cry. It's made you laugh. It's like taking you through all the emotions. That's Facebook. And that shows the power that Facebook has. Facebook is going to be here for a while, unless maybe somebody comes, changes it and all that. And the fact that what other platform has your history pretty much mapped out? On my Facebook, I have pictures of my graduation. On Facebook, I have pictures of my kids. On Facebook, I have pictures of my family. On Facebook, I have pictures of even my relatives that are not even here anymore. So my kids grow up, where do you think they're going to go and see all that information? Pinterest? Google? Seriously? ChatGPT? No. That's Facebook, man. That is the power of Facebook. So it's sort of become sort of like an extension of your 11th finger. You grab your phone, and one of the default apps that you go to, just by default, without even thinking, Facebook shows the power in Facebook, how it rides your emotions, how it turns things around, and no other. You could tell me, is it Pinterest that, again, we're going to see pictures of your kids on, or what are you going to do with your recipes that are on Pinterest? I could go to Google, search that recipe, and get a lot of iterations. Hey, I could actually go to a chat function now, search that, type it in, and it'll give me a recipe, if not better than what I just saw about yours on Pinterest. Not saying Pinterest isn't great. Everything serves its purpose. I am just saying, when you look at Facebook from a general perspective in that format, it's almost no longer a tool. It's an extension. It's almost like a family member. It's bigger than Marky at this point. Bigger than Marky. Again, unless somebody comes to scoop it up. But welcome to this podcast, the Digital Marketing Pulse with Dr. Mayo, where we bring you tips on digital marketing, news, updates, apps, ways to help you out in this industry. Exciting, I would like to say exciting industry. We are in exciting times. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And that's why we're talking about Facebook marketing today in this podcast. And a lot's been happening with Facebook under the Meta platform. Is that it? Meta? Meta platform. A lot of us still behind just, it's Facebook. So the question then becomes, are you using Facebook to generate revenue? Are you using Facebook for marketing? And when I say marketing and revenue, generate revenue is two things. Marketing is spreading the awareness. Let's say you post something out there that, hey, come to our fair, and people show up to the fair. That's marketing. Generating revenue is actually you sold something through Facebook, or you actually made money maybe through gifts. We'll talk about all those monetizations where you can monetize yourself on Facebook. So you see, it's a platform where you can use it for marketing and to generate revenue. When I say that, you can actually use it for both. you think about it, in countries where things aren't as great and you have great digital content creators that have followings on Facebook, financially, those guys are probably doing really, really well. Seriously, really, really well when you think about it. So it is a platform to generate revenue, and it is a very, very successful platform for marketing. Now, that has taken some evolving, I would like to say. Because when Facebook started, especially with the ads, when Facebook started, if you jumped on the ad bandwagon when it started, oh my God, you're probably still sitting in one of your gated community houses right now, based on how much you made from then, Because that was just like you walking into a candy store and they said, take everything for free, as much as you can grab. That was how it just seemed then. Pretty much it is for almost every every platform. There's note to self, like when something launches in every platform, note to self that capitalize on it, because the early adopters in social media actually reap a lot. Knowledge is a lot of power in this instance. Knowledge is a lot of power, I would say. So, but anyway, you using Facebook for marketing and to generate revenue. Many people are. We'll talk about ways that they are using it. And if you are also using it and have been successful with it, please feel free to share in the comments so that anybody who is listening or watching this actually and wants to refer to comments on how successful you've been, sharing is caring, man, and helping the world. But I will also share some tips here that you will take away and apply to be successful. Honestly, you will be successful. These are tried and true methods. But now let's talk about Facebook currently now and the atmosphere of things that are going to. Again, the history goes to, let's go back to that history again I was talking about. When you jumped on the bandwagon with Facebook ads, you would have made a killing then if you were an early adopter. The targeting, all that. Now, that has taken so many twists and turns over the years, as it should. As we would say, things evolve. Crazy ways. Different twists and turns, though. Up to the point now we're at a point right now that the iOS restrictions, Apple restrictions, where Facebook can't do as much marketing based on, you being able to block advertisers on all that, certain things like that have now affected. It's just so many things have happened over the time that many would say it's not as effective as before, especially with the Facebook ads. But some will still, some still say they absolutely use it, So the history of it is just that it's evolved in so many ways. And that's part of what is the confusion I've realized with Facebook is it evolves daily. Daily, Now, okay. For instance, let's just look at here. When you look at the screen on here, let's go to Facebook, social media today. Let's look at social media today under their Facebook stuff. And let's look at the topics. Just inconsistent, a little confusing. It's like, what is going on over there? Okay, Meta launches new Reels ad options as it leans into evolving consumption shifts. Okay. It's March 28th. Meta's testing new ad tools for retailers to help maximize campaign performance. Hear that, retailers? Good news. Meta says it doesn't need news content as Canada pushes for new publisher revenue share regulations. Okay, regulations. Okay. Meta launches Refresh Safety Center to help users access focused assistance. That's pretty cool. Meta adds new safety resource section for journalists. Okay. Meta launches new Meta verified program in the U.S. Well, they're following Twitter's lead there to make more money. I guess when the ads dry up, you got to make more money, right? Once from the ads dry up, you got to make more money. Okay, Meta tests new process to authenticate accounts via missed calls, shelving the last elements of its social auto push, how to implement healthy content. Meta announces more job cuts with 10,000 roles to be. So how are all these things launching when all these jobs are being cut? Meta winds down NFT projects to focus on other elements, more social media discussions, moving to messaging, which is important for marketers to, that has nothing to do with Meta. Meta threatens to ban Canada. So it's like, what is happening? Every day there is something happening with Facebook. And, put it in context. This is the news. This is just a brief on social media today, a brief rundown on all the news on what's going on. But you see all the changes that are happening. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to keep up with. It's like, you just don't know. Even the platforms, they change. Recently, we did a video on how to deactivate your Instagram or delete your Instagram. And guess what? Just a few weeks ago, they changed that. So everybody now in the comment section is saying it doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is old. It doesn't work. It's like, okay, so we got to update that now. Just changes. It's almost like, what is going on? 10,000 people being fired and a new project being, and I get, again, we're talking about, when you think about a project being launched, I mean, the head of that project is probably making a killing. There's a team behind that killing. It's a huge thing. So what you just see as a real little update could just be a team of people spending months and years on launch times. Like, oh my God, we got to launch this. We got to launch this right now and stuff. And then you have this new tool and then we're going, oh my God, we're confused. So it's sort of a perception that I've seen with Facebook when you talk to people. We're having a meta Facebook and Instagram workshop in the next 2 weeks, I believe. And that's what it is. They go, I log into Meta and I don't even know where to start. Because the last time I logged into it is not what I saw today. It's like, I feel you, man. I feel you. And at times for us, we do tech support too for like social media and stuff. And when we like log in, remote login and stuff, we it's like, whoa, your platform's actually different than what we're seeing on ours. It's like, what is going on? So there's just a lot that goes on Facebook. I mean, in the meta world, I mean, it's a lot. And it's so hard at times just to keep up with. It's so hard to keep up with. Now, this one's a painful one. Meta pauses Reels bonus program as it develops a new ad revenue share system. They better release that really quick. Honestly, because I personally was making money through the bonus program. And, when that happened, I said, finally, I mean, did Marky go talk to his psychic and they told him, hey, with all this money you're making, you probably need to share it? Because when the bonus program came out, well, they said it was because of COVID, but, it's like, co-share, man. Like, what is going on? Because that program was really, really huge for a lot of people. And them just stopping it was just a shock. So I hope they come up with something good. And again, this goes to the consistency of Facebook. The funny thing is when the program started for the bonus reels, and we'll get to that too, I got excited. And sometimes we don't get excited. You know how Facebook is. And that's, again, the perception is like, this might not last long. So I get it. I get the confusion perception and how that can affect marketing, but that still doesn't mean stop using it. That doesn't mean stop using it. Still use it as much as possible and get the most out of it. So if you're using Facebook for marketing, again, we'd like to hear in the comment section how you're using it and how great it is for you. But I will share some ways, excuse me, right here. Take a sip of my coffee there. So we touched on the history, on how it's evolved up till now and all the changes. And now it's now under Meta, as we would say, Meta now. And in some ways, Facebook marketing has actually, the demand for it has actually increased, is what I've noticed. Because now a lot of people want to do classes on Facebook because they understand the value of it, because things have just evolved. And I mean, when it's funny because I see professionals actually focusing a lot more on Facebook than LinkedIn. And I go, wow, that's kind of interesting. Like, I would have thought LinkedIn would be the place you'd focus more on the network. But a lot of people want to do on Facebook. But it makes sense because if you're targeting B2C Facebook, where we know LinkedIn is B2B, and they sort of overlap, but B2C. So it totally makes sense. Excuse me. That you'd be doing that. So, but the lesson to learn in this whole process is the reliance. That's what I've come to learn is I see all these new things and don't just rely on it because things can change and you just got to flow and move with it. Things can change and flow and move with it. So Facebook marketing has actually gone up. The demand for it. And we'll go over here, look under trends here. So let's go to Google Trends here and look at Facebook marketing as a search term. I've actually put it in here. And worldwide, the past 5 years, all categories and stuff. Okay, so past 5 years, you could see here, we'll go to 2018 on the average of 22 a day. And look at this graph. If you are listening to this audio-wise, the graph on the end is almost like a square root. I mean, it just goes up. And this started at like, when is this? December 18, 24, 22. There's actually a huge spike. So it shows how the interest over time has just gone. We could actually go to 2008 till present. Let's see how that graph goes. Oh my God. So it goes up, and then we lost it in 2017 for a little bit. I wonder what happened. But that's the interest over time. So it still shows that Facebook is hot, man. Facebook is still hot. It's still somewhere you want to be in. This is information we're pulling in from Google Trends, as you can see up here. Because I just wanted to know, I mean, is anybody still interested in Facebook marketing and stuff? But it's still a major avenue. We still had a workshop yesterday. A lot of people that came to it saw the ad on Facebook. We didn't even post the event. We didn't even create the event on Facebook. We created an Eventbrite and posted it on Facebook. It's still. And so those are, things to consider. Let's go to the last 30 days here and let's see what we have. See, on the average, 63 a day. So there is general interest about this, about Facebook marketing, because that just means that it is still working despite everything that's really going on. It is still working. Right. Now, when you're talking about then doing marketing on Facebook, if you haven't done it before, that's okay. Some tips here might just help you. Some things we'll talk about here might help you. Might just shed, boom, shine a light. I would say shine the light for you. And if you are too, you might not be doing some of these things that I know currently is working great on Facebook, just based on the numbers that we see and whatnot. And so in this day and age right now, when you have a social media strategy, it certainly just looks at all the platforms. And in many instances, you probably just need to have also a Facebook strategy on its own, a Facebook marketing strategy, because not all the platforms are the same. So when you're posting on Facebook, you're considering the fact that you have more characters than when you're posting on Twitter, because you have 130 characters. But when you're doing the strategy, you have to consider that. If you're doing a strategy for Twitter, you have to consider the 130 characters that go in. So every platform has its own DNA, has its own thing you got to mold it with. I mean, should I say mold it? You have its own thing you got to, know about it, and stuff. So it has its own, DNA, has its own, life, I would say, like I said, Facebook's a family member, right? So when your strategy, when you create your strategy, a few things that you want to consider is the fact that Facebook is different, because it's a good place primarily for B2C. A lot of consumers go there, and the mindset that they used to go there is totally different. So when I log on to Facebook, I have a totally different mindset than when I'm logging on to Instagram, when I'm logging on to Twitter. If you think about it, just step back and think and go, when you log into, it's a totally different mindset. I mean, it's almost even mood changing. Like you go, from Facebook, let me just go see what's going on here. You're curious. And then Instagram is like, and then Twitter, it's like, okay, great. And then Pinterest is like, whoa, I'm hungry. There's just different psychology. So for Facebook, you got to consider the strategy for it. And think of the fact that it has many components that others might have and don't have. But these are tried and true things. One is just to post consistently. Again, any algorithm loves posts. The monster wants to be fed. Yum, yum, yum. Keep feeding it. Post consistently as much as possible. And when you're posting, the strategy, especially on Facebook, because people like to get entertained. Think about the entertaining component, the entertaining voice, and how you can entertain them. How you can entertain them. Most importantly, think about how you can educate. Content education and content, things that make you go, whoa, they are just amazing. And education does that. You think about it. Anytime you go to a workshop to learn something, if you leave that workshop without going, whoa, yeah, you should be excited. You should be like stunned, like, wow, this is information, because knowledge is power. So if you put helpful content, you're putting powerful content out, period. That's what it is. Just think about it. Helpful content is powerful content. So be entertaining and be very, very helpful. Consider your hashtags, very important. And then consider the fact that, consider the fact of what your audience is, what your audience likes, and cater to that. Beyond these two. Why I say beyond these two is that helpful content in any instance would work. So if you're starting your business today, you think about, if you're starting your business today and you get on Facebook, go hard on helpful content. Take that from me and come back and tell me your results. Go hard on helpful content. You don't even have to post, hey, we're selling this and we're selling this. Go hard. Just post, this is what happens when this happens. This is what happens when this happens. Do you know how this happens? Blah, blah, blah. And you just start to see people stunned, following you, asking you already for services and help. Because knowledge is power. You've put powerful content out there, and therefore you're going to get it back. So those are tried and true ways, no matter what industry you're in. Everything else is fluff, which is good. The fluff is good. But educate people. Entertain them as much as possible. Then use all the technicalities, the hashtags, tag locations. I see people on Instagram not tagging locations. Tag locations, very important, because people search for things via locations. Also, make sure you are using your stories on Instagram and Facebook. Very important. Wow. Very important. Why? Because you can be discovered a whole lot better with the tags. It opens you up. If you tag a city and people are searching for things in that city, they get to have the opportunity to see you, not just your followers. And that's what you want. Discoverability at the highest order. Your stories, because you can add links in stories. People don't take advantage of that. It's like, what? Add a link to your story. It's a CTA. Add a link to your story. Add a sticker to your story. Engage. Add a poll to your story. Add a hashtag to your story. Make it flashy. Make it shine. Make it be like, like, whoa, what is this? Like, captivate, entertain. Very important that you're doing that in your stories. Of course, if you're not doing reels, come on. Today is the day you start. Today is the day you see the difference when you start to do reels. And as you see, I think when we went to what's going on here? What did they say here? Meta launches new reels ad options as it leans into evolving consumption shifts. Evolving consumption shifts is the fact that reels are taking off. Reels are taking off, man. It's the 9x16 portrait. It's just hot. The 9x16 portrait, which is just your phone, it's hot. The 9x16 portrait is hot. And so everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. It is. And again, because it's relatively new, if you jump on it right now, you get to gain a whole lot. So you should be doing reels. Very, very important that you're doing reels. Now, also groups. I've just heard a great tip about groups, which was we've had a group in digital marketing, and we did it for what was a master class where we had 4 classes. And then after that, I still tried to put stuff in there, but it just wasn't. I was like, wow. So since then, it just wasn't. Like, I was like, what else? What do they want? Tea now? Shots of Jaeger bombs? What else we don't meet anymore, and how. And since then, I just stopped doing groups. I'm just like, I I don't know how to just keep these people entertained, but I just heard a great tip, which is you can kill your group and start another one. So you can actually start a group and then tell those people, hey, go follow me over here because this group is for training and whatnot. I'm like, wow, that's eye-opening. So yeah, because to nurture a group is a lot of work, man. I mean, you're talking about managing people. And they'll always expect, stuff from you, but groups are huge. I know groups are huge because when you're in your group, you get to see what that person posts. It's sort of like how Pages was in the past, where when anybody posted on your page and you followed that page, you would see the post. That's what makes groups so unique, is that your following will actually get to see what you are actually posting, But at the same time, your groups just can't be wide. In a page, you could be so wide, and touch different topics. But if it's a group on digital marketing for homeowners or digital marketing for realtors, it's just a digital marketing for realtors group. And you just have to keep doing stuff over there forever. Well, maybe you can, because it does work, So depending on it, I've heard groups work really. I mean, and I know groups work because I see the posts and stuff, Also, your pages are still hot. And the good thing is the fact that you can now monetize through your pages in different ways. Just like I was saying before, you can monetize for gifts where people pay you. You can monetize for stars, I believe. And so that's kind of cool on your pages. And you can also do many things, add a shop on your page. So there's all these kind of things that you could do still on your page. You can still reach people. And people that still religiously follow you and want good content from you will see that content. That's what makes pages really, really cool. So you, again, on Facebook and Instagram, you should do your stories. You should do your reels. Very, very important. Reels. Take that from me. Reels is huge. Create your groups, but very careful in managing your groups because, you're dealing with people now. And monetization, which I believe is really, really huge. Again, I was excited when I got the bonus email that, hey, you can get money based off your views and your streams now. And we were making a decent, and it actually started growing, man. I was excited. And I would always think about it. When I got excited, I'll be like, it's Facebook. Remember, anything can change. And lo and behold, last week it did change, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, thank goodness. I just wasn't focusing on Facebook. I was focused on YouTube at the same time, which they're a little bit more reliable, I would say, in that instance. But the lesson to be learned is reliance. Do not rely on one platform. Same thing that we talked about TikTok in the last episode. If you didn't listen to it, it's about TikTok. If you just relied on TikTok, right now you'd be shaking based on everything that's going on. And not just about the ban. I've seen people just desert TikTok now just because of the news. Some people just taking it off their phone just because of the news. So spread your tentacles, man. Spread on all platforms as much as possible. And most especially your website that nobody whatsoever can take away from you. Nobody can take away from you. Awesome. Now, we talk about the tools and wrap this up here that you can use. Because, I just told you could do reels. Okay, you're like, okay, that's awesome. You could do groups, pages, monetization, and all that stuff. And how do I do this? How do I create all this content? Well, the good news is we have so much great AI right now, artificial intelligence, that can create all these things for you. And they know about, creating content for platforms, So you can go and ask AI, hey, give me a suggestion for my reels on base da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da, a title. Give me a title for a reel based on this, or suggest a group name for me, and the AI would give you. Or, hey, I want to create a page about this. What are the things that I should say on that page? And the AI should spit it for you, So different ways that you could use AI. You could use AI in that to get the type of content that you're going to use. And then once you do that, you could say, create a post for me that does this, and that with the AI tool, and it goes that. Or create a post for Facebook. You can be strategic, actually, and specific. Create a post for Facebook that says, come next week to our launch, where we'll be serving an open bar in the first 30 minutes and then giving out raffles. And, it'll do that. Give me hashtags. Tell the AI, give me hashtags. And then go to places like Canva to create your reels. They have templates for that. Yes, they do. They have templates for reels. They have templates for posts. They have templates for all that stuff. And they also have artificial intelligence components like in their systems that can help you. So because the far-fetched thing to think about is, how am I going to create that content? Honestly, it can be a little overwhelming because you're going, I don't have the skills. No, well, don't worry about it. The tools do have the skills. All they need is your input and a little bit of your, hey, let me check this out. A little bit of your good eye, I would say. A little bit of your good eye. So, but that's it for Facebook, I would say. That it's still the big elephant in the building, not the room, still the big elephant in the building. As you can see, looking at the trends over years, it's still pretty hot, if not at the hottest point right now, that people have realized that Facebook is still pretty relevant. Because I get that a lot. Like, a lot of times people go, is Facebook still relevant? What a question. Absolutely. And always probably will be for a very, very long time. All our lives, our pictures of our family, our kids, our events, our emotions, our experiences. When your uncle lost it at the party, the picture of him warped. I mean, when everybody was happy and dancing around, all those pictures, your high school pictures, your friends from the past, your reunions. I mean, your life on Facebook. So it lets you know the importance, I should say, of getting on it. But till next time, if this has been helpful for you, like and subscribe our channel. We'll be creating great content for you to make your life easier, to give you all these tips. So you could just skip the line, man. You don't need to get in line. We've been through it already for you. So just come along. And so till next time, this is the Digital Marketing Pulse with Dr. Mayo. Take care.